What's up? Hope all is well. This is the live breakdown of The Last Dance, episodes 3 and 4. Why are they making this 10? Well, it's for the money. So we know the reason. um, the general public, what they might understand and what they don't understand. You're looking at a parallel of different people involved, different characters, different emotions, different feelings. You're seeing people reflecting back into a time that you were probably wasn't even born in. That's how far back this goes. So a lot of the people that had their eye or had a finger on what the last dance was, they don't even remember it. They can't recall any of it. They don't know what this was like. So this is the first time they're like seeing the last dance or the Bulls. And just like I thought, they made the Bulls like the shining knights, and everybody else is the villains trying to stop them. Is that what you took from that, Buddha? Without Scottie Pippen? Is that what you took from this? No, what this showed you is that without Dennis Rodman, they are nothing. You don't win without Dennis. The team started to win without Scottie. Scottie didn't come back to January. The team was rolling. So episode 3 took you into a little bit of the life of Dennis Rodman and his value and his contributions to the Chicago Bulls and what he brought to the table. And a little bit of how Dennis is unorthodox. And the Bulls was never as popular until Dennis Rodman came over. He made the Bulls rock stars. Michael Jordan and Scottie, they were squares. Dennis was the most popular player in history on the Chicago Bulls when he played with Michael Jordan those last 3 championships. He was more popular than Michael Jordan, and Jordan loved it. Crowds were showing up for Dennis. Michael loved that. He could care less about any of the fame. He want to win. That was his drug of choice, was winning. So episode 3, I thought, really set the stage of showing the importance of what Dennis Rodman brought to the table and how his IQ, he was more than just a guy that grabbed rebounds. It was an art form to what Dennis did. He kind of gave you an insight on how people shot the ball. He studied, knowing how the ball would come off the rim to put himself in position, the way he defended guys and picked them up one on one, on ball man defense. You don't win 72 games without Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman is I don't know why they won't mention it. He has the highest win percentage of any player in the history of the NBA. No one has played as many games as Dennis Rodman has the highest winning percentage as Dennis Rodman. He has won 81% of his games. Michael Jordan can't say that. Kobe, Kareem, Magic, no one could say that. But Dennis can. Wherever he goes, he produces. And he's a Detroit Piston. Bad boy. This documentary made the Detroit Pistons look like a bunch of thugs in an alley. Every highlight they shown was a highlight of the Detroit Pistons fouling Michael Jordan on the Chicago Bulls to feed this false narrative that all we did was beat them up, and then we just somehow got more points than them because we beat them up. Oh wow, it is the phoniest story and the fakest story ever told. It's almost insulting that they throw this in your face. Just like they didn't give you any notifications for this live stream that we're doing right now. It's about as disgusting as that. I got a rep. Oh, you could tell the animosity's there between Mike and Isaiah. It's still there. It's going nowhere. And it shouldn't go nowhere. You know, for so many years, you know, we all had to deal with the media's bias towards the Detroit Pistons. And you see why I rep them so hard. As they told you in this documentary, they weren't the ones that were picked to win anything. They took it. They picked Jordan. It was supposed to go Bird, Magic, and Michael. And Isaiah screwed all that up for them. Of course, he always commentated, did his job. Isaiah always spoke highly of Mike and talked and broke the game down the way it was supposed to be. But as you can see here, this means something. They didn't cry like women like Horace Grant and the rest of these chumps who need Michael Jordan to hold their hand. Scottie Pippen, oh, I got a headache. I got a migraine. Need Michael to be there for him. All this thing showed you is that Scottie Pippen is the biggest punk in the history of basketball. That's what this series showed you. This series backed up every single thing I've ever told you. All you people talking and raving about Scottie. Scottie's the weakest player mentally I've ever seen in my life. To sit there and get punked as much as he did on the basketball court, Michael Jordan had to be there to make them better. I just told people the Las Vegas story about Dennis Rodman like earlier. I mean, to a lot, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people know these stories. There's so many Dennis Rodman stories, it's crazy. But I'm just so tired of this notion of, oh, the walking off the court. They just showed you the Boston Celtics did it to them. And it was okay when the Boston Celtics dethroned them. and they became the new Eastern Giants. They became the new guys, the Pistons. Boston didn't come shake their hand, and nobody in the media, nobody said a damn thing. And they showed you. Bird didn't congratulate no damn body. But because nobody shook Michael Jordan's hand, oh, they didn't shake Jordan's hand. They just don't have no class. But Larry Bird didn't shake nobody's hand. Oh, they just skipped right over that. Oh, well, that's the Celtics thing. You know, I'm quite sure they did shake some hands. No, they didn't. But let's skip over that. Let's keep going back to Michael. Michael's, we shook their hands when we lost every year. You didn't beat them, chump. You didn't dethrone them. Who cares about what you doing? We're talking about when you surpass somebody. You're the losers. They still the champions of the division. You're supposed to shake their hands. You didn't beat them. Talking about some, I don't want to hear nothing Isaiah saying. It's just going to be some bull. I mean, he can't change the way he felt at that point. Nobody cares. You holding on to it like it meant something. If you really don't care, then don't care about it. That's what I hated most about the Bulls, is all the BS that comes along with it. Don't nobody care about what the record was after the fact. The Bad Boys was broken up after that. So nobody cares about that. Isaiah was out the league in about another year. The teams had completely changed. They couldn't beat us in our prime. And then they got to take our players and put them on their team. Because they knew we were better. You got Horace Grant talking. Who is Horace Grant? You see that man right there? Hall of Fame. Detroit Pistons. Bad boy. Difference maker. Right there. That's a difference maker. He had more energy than anybody on the Chicago Bulls. He was older than them. He was a force of nature. Could outrun them for days and never get tired. Can party them all under the table and never get tired. His name is Dennis Rodman. And he's a bad boy Piston. Hall of Fame. Who is Horace Grant to him? A guy he shut down. They won one series when everybody's hurt and broken up. Big deal. We dominate you for years. Years. That's what the Pistons do. We didn't just beat you up. We got 3 Hall of Fame players, a Hall of Fame coach. Why do you think Chuck Daly was the coach of the Dream Team? A Detroit Piston coach. It wasn't Phil Jackson. It was Chuck Daly. It wasn't Pat Riley. It wasn't K.C. Jones. They took Chuck. Why? Because he was the best. Adrian Dantley, Hall of Fame. Isaiah Thomas, Hall of Fame. Joe Dumars, Hall of Fame. Dennis Rodman, Hall of Fame. Chuck Daly, Hall of Fame. Michael Jordan bribed him to put Scottie Pippen in there. Horace Grant Haller, yeah, right. Dennis Rodman is the reason you got 3 more championships. If not, the Bulls would only have 3 titles. Period. Without Dennis, you don't win. Just like he said, I do things they cannot do. I do the dirty work that they cannot do. Scottie can't do it and Michael can't do it. Only Dennis can do that. He can guard Shaq. He can guard all the big guys, 1 through 5, frustrate their whole back line and out-rebound them. The Detroit Pistons was the greatest defensive team in the history of basketball. They're the team that changed the league to what you see now. Offensively, they were the first high screen and roll, pick and roll team. The Detroit Pistons with a 3-guard rotation. The NBA was played inside out, which means the big man decided who won all the NBA championships. All the people who could score at the rim. That's how the game was. They were a jump shooting team. The Detroit Pistons brought that to light. They were a team that was finishing not just at the basket. We weren't driven on the center. Our center shot threes. Nobody was doing that. Our center is bringing your center out to the paint, to the top of the key. So Edwards will get the rebounds and Rodman to be down there getting rebounds. We played an entirely different game, and y'all were not ready for it. And the NBA wasn't ready for it. And they couldn't figure out how the Detroit Pistons was winning games because they were smarter than the rest of the teams. It was cerebral. It was mental. We mentally broke these teams down. And to see that we, once again, don't get our credit, they make a whole documentary on the Bulls and made it look like we just beat them up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And once again, they relived this stupid play where Dennis Rodman pushed Scottie Pippen to the ground. Ooh, big deal. Scottie gets a foul. Wow, they call a flagrant foul. Nobody contested. Nobody on the Detroit Pistons contested. We didn't care. It was a foul. It was flagrant. He deliberately pushed him. Scottie got up. He went off. Why is everybody making it like it was the biggest play of the game? It was so malicious. He pushed the guy in the back. That's it. He fouled him and then he pushed him to the ground. They called a flagrant. Oh well. Shoot your free throws, take the ball out. How many I've seen way worse flagrant fouls in this day and age. They tried to make it look like he murdered the guy or something. Scottie Pippen's whole career could have been over on this one play. Look at Rodman push him in the back and he falls to the ground. I'm like, it's so ridiculous. Yeah, every play, Detroit just fouled Michael Jordan, and they kept fouling him and fouling him and fouling him to they just said we had more points than the Bulls. How? How did we get there? Oh yeah, the Bulls are just angels. They just never fouled anybody. They just played the game so nice. And they're the clean and cut Bulls. Bill Cartwright used to throw elbows just like everybody else. They was dirty, setting illegal screens, illegal picks, cutting people with his wide elbows, whacking people. But nobody, oh no, they're so clean cut. They used to have a little tough guy, Ed Neely. Man, I love when Buddha Edwards slapped the dog pee out of him. Pop! Fouled Buddha Edwards and got slapped up. The little Bulls tough guy, Ed Neely. Man, I gotta go watch that. I'm gonna find that game on YouTube just so I can see Ed Neely get slapped twice. Ed Neely got tough when he got tough after he got slapped. First he was like, hey, I'm sorry. Then all the teammates ran in front of him. Then he gonna get tough in the back. Like, yeah, I fouled you. Buddha reached through all them teammates because Buddha wingspan is about 8 feet tall. James Buddha Edwards reached through all the Bulls and slapped Ed Neely again. That's what made it even more funny. He's like, my buddy who's a Bull fan, he was like, God, dog. I even got to laugh at that. Ed Neely getting slapped up like that. That made it. Ed Neely got slapped up, man. That made my day. Ed Neely, yeah, we got a tough enforcer, Ed Neely. We got us a Lambeer. So don't give me that. Y'all tried y'all best to be like Detroit. Y'all just weren't smart and you weren't good enough. Y'all tried to emulate us. So if anybody helped you guys win championships, it was us. We made you. And Neely gonna come in there and try to start something. Man, he got smacked up. Yeah, Pat Riley saw Detroit and how they played and tried to make a new Detroit with the Knicks. And it almost worked. They just weren't talented enough. Skill comes into play. We had the best player in the history of the game on our team, Isaiah Lord Thomas III. Then you have one of the smartest two guards and defensive master, Joe Dumars, another Hall of Fame. Matter of fact, Hall of Fame backcourt. And when the last time you seen another one? About 30, 40 years. Never seen a drafted Hall of Fame backcourt. So now you got what? Another situation. Somebody told me Michael and Scotty. People that don't understand basketball should not be speaking. They just shouldn't. They just shouldn't. If you don't know about this, baby, they should be shutting up right now. This whole documentary made the Bulls look like punks. If this whole episode 3 and 4 made them look like suckers. They made the Bulls look like straight suckers. Scottie Pippen crying, I got a headache. I couldn't see. I'm blind. I'm blind. I'm blind. It's 3 of them out there, man. Get your soft butt up out of here. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. You choked because you couldn't handle the pressure, punk. Just like you was choking the year after you just won the championship. When Xavier McDaniels was in your face punking you and y'all go 7 games because you scared. Talk to me about no Scotty. You stole him in the Hall of Fame, 50th greatest players. He ain't no 50th greatest player. His game just deteriorated. He was only good for like 3 years that he was decent. And then after that, he was an average bum. In 98, he was a bum. Whenever the finals came, what game did Scotty dominate in the finals? Please, I need to know. In 96, 97, 98, because he damn sure didn't show up in Utah. Michael Jordan had to do it all with a stomach flu. He been food poisoned and had to come out and score 40 because you can't do a damn thing. You in the picture holding Michael Jordan. Thanks, Mike. I know I'm supposed to take over because I'm supposed to be Scottie Pippen. I'm one of the 50 greatest players, but I can't do a damn thing on the basketball court when you ain't got it. Mike ain't got it that day. Mike's sick. You supposed to take over, Scottie. Why you couldn't do that? Because you overrated. Been overrated. This whole thing documentary is showing you the Bulls are the most overrated, over-celebrated team in the history of basketball. The NBA and the business of it, John Sally was trying to tell you, look, they wanted Michael. That's the guy they want to make it there. But we keep interrupting that. And Mike, let me tell you this. I know you ain't going to see this, Michael Jordan, because I know you don't do social media and none of that. And I don't know that yak in your glass and got your brains fried. Let me tell you something. What Isaiah was trying to tell you is that we don't give a damn about you congratulating them the year before. You lost. What your congratulations mean to them? That's your decision. You didn't overthrow them. When you overthrow them, it's up to them. That they're saying is the team that overthrew them, which was the Boston Celtics. They walked off the court. Nobody give a damn about what you did the years you was losing. You're the loser. They're the winners. So when they were winning, they didn't get congratulated when they took over the Eastern Conference. You were losing. You didn't take over the Eastern damn Conference. So when you took over the Eastern Conference, they gave you the same treatment Boston gave to them because you were being disrespectful. All leading up into it, doing all these interviews, talking about this the end of the Pistons, in their building, doing interviews, dumping on them. You were being disrespectful. So the Detroit media, the Detroit people in Detroit didn't give a damn about Michael Jordan. So, of course, he's going to say LeBron James is better than you. That's to show you how much it's real. I could never say that. As much as I ride with this red and blue, I could not be that untrue. I can't. But they know. This episode just showed you right now why the Detroit Pistons was the greatest team in basketball history. They went against the league and won. How could you not root for that? That's something. They have changed the game. The game is played the way the Pistons played it. Offensively. Now it's all about the guards. They were the ones that brought that to the table. The game was always about the center. If you had a guard, you couldn't win championships with the play being done by the guards. Tiny Archibald was one of the players who tried to do that, but they were never successful in winning championships like that. They's like, oh, you can't win championships. You got to have a big center in there to win the championship. Got to get a center. The game was changed. When Michael Jordan was scoring all those points, you know what they were saying? Jordan is never going to win a championship like Magic and Bird because he ain't got a center. Michael Jordan needs a center. Who's going to be Michael's center? Michael can't do it. He can't win it like Magic and Bird. Nobody done it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It wasn't done from the guard perspective. Ever. Magic had Kareem. Bird had Robert Parrish. It was never won that way. Zeke did it. The Detroit Pistons were the first to do it that way. They changed the game. Then Jordan came. And then they did it without a center. Without Bill, well, Bill Cartwright wasn't the guy. Like he said, we don't want Bill getting the ball with 5 seconds. So Bill Cartwright wasn't that center where they was going to work through him. The structure was back. They were the first ones. The Golden State Warriors, they played like the Detroit Pistons. That's why when they had them sitting side by side on the table, who did they have there? Who did they have? Steph Curry and Klay Thompson sitting with Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas, a drafted Hall of Fame backcourt, because they think you guys are going to be the next Hall of Fame backcourt. You guys mirror the Detroit Pistons and how they played the game. High screen and roll. 3-guard rotations. No traditional center. Now you see the game today? Who has a big man? Who has a center? Pick and pop. The double X. That was the offense we ran. It was designed by who? Tex Winter. Who does Tex Winter, who did the Bulls go get and sign as their strategic play designer? Tex Winter. The same guy, Tex. The Bulls signed him. You just saw it. Tex Winter. All his offensive strategies. We ran the Tex Winter system, which was called the double X. We ran a double X offense. And then we didn't run the triangle. The triangle was his other one that other players didn't run, because to learn it, it was more designed around spreading the ball around and using a center. And that wasn't how the Pistons played. They didn't play the traditional way. So to use that and move the ball around, it became a whole different learning curve. But the Pistons were the ones, as they showed you, our own plane. World champions. Changing the game. Changing the league. Merchandising. We showed the NBA how to merchandise. We changed the league. We showed y'all how to stay in 5-star hotels, how to buy a plane. We were the only ones, we paid for it ourselves. The whole NBA, the ownership, they were flying commercial. They didn't even have their own plane. The commissioners didn't even have a plane. They flying on a local flight. Now everybody got a plane, don't they? Who was the first one with a plane? We were. Before we won a title. Staying in 5-star hotels. Learned how to merchandise our own gear. We wasn't selling the NBA Detroit Pistons gear. We was wearing Bad Boys. We was bringing up our own thing, saying that y'all don't want us out there. Shouts out to Bill Davidson, the greatest owner in the history of basketball and sports. This whole 3 and 4 episode dynasty just showed you what the Detroit Pistons was really like. You getting the truth right here. I'm here to delude all the lies they showed you with the highlights of them just beating on Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. How we sore losers? Because we walked off the court. We don't have to shake your hand. So the Boston Celtics were sore losers too then. We don't got to shake them bums' hands. Who are they? Y'all ain't going to talk about us crazy, then we going to come shake y'all hands? I'd have spit in his face. I was glad they walked off the court. How were they sore losers? Didn't you see Boston walk off the court and didn't shake their hand? Nobody says nothing about Boston, though, do they? Nope. They love to talk about that doggone Pistons walking off. Why? Because y'all deem them to be the villains. Y'all want them to be the villains. Sportsmanship, then why didn't Larry Bird show sportsmanship? He walked off the court with time on the shot clock. Adrian Dantley was shooting free throws. You just saw the documentary. They showed it to you. They showed it to you. The Celtics walked off the court with time still on the clock. I know. We know why they didn't talk about Larry. Of course, the Boston played rough. That's how the whole game was played. Everybody played rough. But because the Bulls were some soft kittens, I won't say the other word, and they was a bunch of punks, I mean, who cares? He was with it. They walked off the court and they know it was going to cause all this. They would have just shook each other's hands. But who cares? It's good story to try to make the Bulls look like good guys and make the Pistons look like villains. That's all. Horace Grant is always out of line. Horace Grant he couldn't do nothing with Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman, even every year after that, always punked Horace Grant. Always punked him. Well, you can't win 2 NBA championships playing dirty. You got to be good. You don't go to the Hall of Fame being dirty. You don't have 3, 4 Hall of Fame players being dirty. And that's what it takes. Then damn, everybody should be dirty then, right? That's what it takes. All you got to do is be dirty. I know y'all ain't that dumb. Well, Isaiah's the leader. He's the point guard, traditional. Isaiah could score 40 a night, but you're not going to win a championship doing that. I'm not speaking as a fan. I'm speaking as a realist. I'm speaking as somebody who watched the games, who know. This documentary showed you one thing. The Chicago Bulls was never and could never be the Detroit Pistons. Now, you got to ask yourself this. Which three-peat team that you think was better? The first 3 or the last 3? The most popular was the last 3. And the most popular player was nobody other than Dennis Rodman. And that's it. Don't forget to hit the like button, people. You guys have been here this long and have not hit the like button. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves right now. I shouldn't even have to tell y'all to hit the like button because this is live and uncut. I'm here to diffuse all this nonsense. Scottie didn't want to be a part of the 98 team at all. He wanted to be traded. And they weren't going to trade him. They tried to, but Michael Jordan was the reason they didn't trade him. Michael wanted him on the team for this last run. If this is going to be the last run, Scottie going to be there for the whole shebang. And they traded him, but they did a sign and trade. They signed him to a $33 million deal and traded him they signed him to a deal, then traded him to the Houston Rockets so that the Bulls got something out of it. I mean, you got to look at it. I mean, Scotty's rich, Jordan's rich, Rodman is broke. That's just how you knew it would go. If Scotty was that man, you don't lose that Lakers game. You don't lose that game. You up 15 in the fourth quarter, and you lose the game to Shaq and Kobe before they became Shaq and Kobe. Do you know what was going to happen if the Blazers won that game and went to the NBA Finals to play against the Indiana Pacers? How did we get swept? Easy. We were not supposed to be there in the first place. We were old and broken up. The NBA carried us. They carried us past Boston. Boston that year was better than us and should have beaten us. We shouldn't even beat the Atlanta Hawks. We went 5 games with the Atlanta Hawks, a team that we should have swept. We went 5 games. Then we went 6 games with Boston. And it was some of the worst officiated game I've ever seen in my life. But they carried us all the way there so that the Bulls can be the ones to put us out. We gave everything we had in the game 1. The referees, everybody was against the Pistons. It was designed Michael Jordan goes to the finals. We knew. They tried to fight the league. They fought the league for 3 years. They kept Michael Jordan away from the promised land for 3 years. Now it was time for them to get what the NBA wanted to do. They was like, this is it. We've came up with a new rule this year called the flagrant foul just for Detroit so that we can get Michael Jordan to the finals. Sound familiar? Changing rules in the league just to help a guy out. Who's better, Zeke or MJ? Isaiah Lord Thomas III is better because he was smarter. Think Michael Jordan can coach? Think Michael Jordan could be a general manager? No. He tried that. Now he has to own the team. And what has he done? He still, as an executive, have not gotten the Charlotte Hornets. What, they get to the playoffs and they have not made it past the first round ever? Oh, they gonna milk this last dance to the end. 10 episodes. Come on. They made it like the Chicago Bulls was America's team, and everybody was good guys, and everybody else was the villain. It's clear. Phil Jackson was the acid weed smoking hippie, and that's why he's in Montana. Who's in Montana that's gonna follow you around while you're getting high out there in the trees in the wilderness? Well, they kind of touched lightly on the Doug Collins situation with Phil. You know, they robbed Doug of getting the championship. But looking at it, I don't know if Doug would have lasted as long as he did. All of the plays Doug designed, like I told everybody, it was for one person, and that person was Michael. Doug designed all those plays for Jordan. He knew the rest of the guys were just role players and they didn't have the skill set of Michael Jordan. I need to get this guy more opportunities. And as Doug said, under me, Michael led the league in scoring. He was the most valuable player, defensive player of the year. He was the all-star MVP, and he won the slam dunk contest. Under me. He was right. So Doug knew, and the team got better. The team was getting better. And after going as further than they've ever gone in history, they were knocking on the door. They fired Doug. That's why when Mike came back, he brought back Doug. Doug was the guy that was going to give him design the plays, know how Mike likes to play, and get that ball in Mike's hands. Well, people had to realize something, that I don't take anything away from Scottie Pippen. I just don't give him as much credit as you guys do. I think he's overrated because he played on the Bulls and he played with Michael. And they try to highlight, LeBron fans try to highlight Scottie Pippen to take away from Jordan's greatness. Like, well, you can't discount Pippen. He never won without Scottie Pippen. Well, I'll tell you this. LeBron ain't never won without a potential Hall of Fame player on his side. The only person, and Scotty's not even really a Hall of Fame. Who else you could say was Hall of Fame besides Dennis? Those last three. You want to count how many Hall of Fame players LeBron has played with? Look, I know Mike is full of it. You know, they had this disdain against the Pistons, the whole thing. They making it look like Rodman really went out to hurt him. But they weren't better than us. Well, ESPN wanted to paint Detroit in a bad light. They want to make sure that they show that Michael Jordan congratulated them and said, wow, they didn't congratulate the Bulls. They don't like them. Who cares? Oh, yeah, Mike's lifting weights. He's getting buffed. He's getting stronger now. Well, that's what happened when you've been drinking yak all day, like Jordan has. Look at him. He yacked up. He yakety yak, don't talk back. That's them yak eyes. They be drinking all that yak. Well, that's what he want to do for the rest of his life. He's an old man now. I mean, he was great in his day, but now it's someone else's turn. It's always somebody else's time, but the game has turned into a whole mess of something that I don't even want to watch no more. Half the time it's so boring. Everybody plays the same way. It's ridiculous. And then they wonder why like the attention is gone. This is why. So maybe the next episode will be a little bit more better than these two. These two are all right. It wasn't better than the first two. I'm out.